Scooter rider severely injured in collision. Member of the Alzheimer's Association expounds on the virtual conference which will be held on Monday. And Radio Telethon being organized to assist COVID-19 victims. Those are the headlines for Friday, November the 20th, 2020. Good evening, viewers. This is SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie Van Putten. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. And as usual, we have a full newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, the COVID-19 pandemic has hit many people in the community very hard, with some losing their jobs, to some who have had the hours cut, and others who have been confronted with other issues that they were unable to meet their monthly commitments. Luckily, however, there are a few good citizens out there that are trying to assist those who really need the help. The St. Martin United Ministerial Foundation, along with the St. Martin Council of Churches and the Seventh-day Adventist Churches, are organizing the St. Martin Radio Telethon to assist in raising funds to help these COVID-19 victims. SXM Daily News spoke to one of the organizers, Pastor Wycliffe Smith, who told us how this all came about.
The radio station, PJD2, and Mr. Don Hughes readily offered to participate and to contribute by airing or broadcasting the program live. The TV Carib also, and we reached out to Radio Saint Martin on the French side. So these three media houses are going to be broadcasting the activity live, and it's we call it a radio telethon. So during that period, and it will take place on Sunday, the 13th of December, from 10 in the morning until 6 p.m., we will be on radio and TV announcing the activity, the event, and inviting people to make pledges and to donate to this cause. What will happen is that the funds that will be raised before, because the bank accounts are available before and also after, those funds will be divided evenly amongst the three umbrella church organizations. And they will then be given the task to receive requests from citizens who are in need, and they then will disperse the funds. The funds will not be given directly to the persons, but will probably mostly be done via check or directly to the business or organization that the bill has to be paid to. This is for better accounting. And I think very interesting, people who pledge, especially on the Sunday, we will be picking it up one time. If we're inviting them to come to the University of St. Martin, because there it's going to be held. The event, the fundraising activity is going to be held there. People will be invited to come to the University of St. Martin and drop off their cash or their check. But if they cannot, then we will have drivers who will go to their place, to the home or to the business, and pick it up one time, because we know sometimes people mean well, but they do forget after that particular day. And instead of having to go behind and call and remind, we say, all right, come and we will pick it up. So that is, in a nutshell, the whole process.
And when asked about the picking up of the funds that will be donated to the cause, the pastor said that the idea is that as many people as possible will drop off their donation and pick up their receipt at the university on that Sunday, December the 13th.
So that is the idea. We would hope that as many people as possible would come to the university, drop it off, get their receipt, and go on their merry way. But if they cannot, this service will be offered to them. And I think it's a very useful one.
And now in this item taken from the police blotter, the personnel of the traffic department is investigating a serious accident which took place on Tuesday evening, November the 17th, 2020, around 8 p.m. on the Rhine Road, whereby a scooter rider was severely injured. According to the preliminary investigation, the rider with the initial CM was traveling in the direction of Curacao when, for reasons unknown, lost control and collided with one of the large stones on the side of the road. As a result of the collision, the rider suffered severe lacerations to his face, and he was treated at the scene by the personnel of the ambulance and later rushed to the St. Martin Medical Center for further treatment. Upon further investigation into what transpired, it was discovered that persons who were on the scene, in an effort to assist the rider, moved him from where he originally landed to the side of the road. They also removed the helmet from his head. The personnel of the traffic department is urging persons who may be on a scene of an accident before emergency personnel arrives to refrain from tampering with victims if unsure of their medical condition. These actions may result in further injuries that could otherwise have been avoided. The police force on St. Martin is again cautioning motorcycle and scooter riders about their behavior in traffic. They will work and they will continue to work towards keeping St. Martin roads safe, but it is a job that cannot be done without the help of the community. In many cases, easy safety measures can be taken to prevent unnecessary accidents. And still to come, Minister of Health talks about COVID-19 victims. I'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NWRPB.
And welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie von Putten. As we continue now, in news out of Curacao, a third person in Curacao has died from the consequences of the coronavirus, Dr. Izzy Hersenbluth announced at a press conference. In total, 79 people in Curacao have tested positive for the virus yesterday. That is a new record. At 23, the source of contamination is known. At the other 56, research is still being done by means of contact tracing. 15 people have been declared cured. In total, the corona count now stands at 590 active infections. According to police spokesman Imro Zwerwer, the high number of infections probably is the result of Halloween parties and gatherings in the catering industry. Dr. Izzy Hersenbluth expects the number to rise even further in the coming days because many people who are now found to be infected have been in contact with others in recent days. Since this week, Curacao has had stricter corona measures, such as a curfew from 9 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. Parties are also prohibited. The catering industry must be closed by 8 p.m. and people are asked to work from home if possible. Many of the people who have now tested positive have probably already been infected before the intensification of the measures. In the second chamber of the Dutch Parliament, Prime Minister Rutte said that the travel advice for Curacao will remain code yellow for the time being because the island has taken good measures to reduce the number of infections again. Curacao traditionally has a tourist peak around the holidays. The island is doing everything it can to have the numbers of infections under control before then. Curacao is currently one of the few holiday destinations where the Dutch can go during this period. And now back on St. Martin, as of November the 19th, there were 9 persons who tested positive for COVID-19. However, there was a recovery rate of 4 persons, bringing the total active cases to 71. The total number of confirmed cases is now 973. The Collective Prevention Services, CPS, are monitoring 68 people in home isolation. 3 patients are hospitalized at the St. Martin Medical Center. The total number of deaths due to COVID-19 remains at 24. The number of people recovered since the first case surfaced on St. Martin has increased to 878 people. 150 people are in quarantine based on contact tracing investigations carried out by CPS of persons who may have been in contact with any of the active cases. CPS has tested 1,339 travelers arriving at the Princess Juliana International Airport and 7,143 people throughout the community. And we are again being reminded to please remain vigilant when in public places. It is your responsibility to protect yourself, your loved ones, and our community. The only way for us to overcome this pandemic is to practice proper hand hygiene, social distance of 2 meters, wear a mask in public places, and be mindful of large gatherings. And as we continue now in this other item, Minister of Public Health, the Honorable Richard Panafleck, when asked recently about COVID-19 deaths on the island and if any autopsies were performed to conclude that it was indeed COVID-19 that the patients had succumbed to, the minister says to confirm that someone actually died from COVID-19 is twofold, prior and posthumous. He expounded further.
To confirm that a person has passed from COVID could be twofold. Prior that they passed, it was established already that they was infected, or what they call posthumous, that is after that the person passed. The autopsy will develop this. That's the method that is being done in St. Martin. There are those that many times it's only after they pass. Today, a lot of people are talking about the 24th, but I want to reiterate that the 24th is from the beginning, from the start. It is not something that happened in the so-called second wave. It's from the beginning till right now. Regretfully, 24 persons passed. Just like the 900 something plus people that are positive, it's not that they are positive right now, but from the beginning up to now, that are the amounts. So we are trying to give the information as good as possible. Sometimes we are being requested to give more information, and sometimes we balance out how we give the information, because the more information you get more confusion, and we don't want the people to get confused. Basically, actually, what we want to know is for the people to understand the seriousness of this disease and that they know what they can do to prevent themselves and the loved ones to get infected.
And in other news, Secretary of the Alzheimer's Association on St. Martin, Dr. Anders Raymond Gisseroen, elaborated recently on the virtual conference that will be held on November the 23rd, 2020, which is this upcoming Monday, about living with dementia.
Where we informed the public that there is an opportunity for you in the comfort of your own home during next week from Monday to Friday, 24 hours a day, you can go online and take notice of experiences concerning challenges, but also solutions that in the region were found for the persons with dementia, living with dementia during this COVID-19 pandemic situation. COVID-19 didn't leave yet, so we are still in this situation where we can learn from one another how we can address these issues and how we can overcome the challenges. We will be having speakers from the region, because most of the things that you find online are from experts in European, North American, Australian countries. So by bringing together our own experts from the region, we will have an insight in our own reality that can be shared and which can be beneficial for people to get more insight. We have to tell you that for you to register for this opportunity so that you can get a link, the main sponsor of this event was the Universidad Latina of Costa Rica, and so they will be providing the link for you to go online during that whole week in your own time. There is a little promotional fee that is attached to it. You send an email to alzheimersxm@gmail.com. That's the email from the St. Martin Alzheimer's Foundation. And then you will get the whole package of information. Who are the speakers? What are the topics that they will be covering? You will get some information of the background of why this thing is being organized and how you can get your registration so that in the comfort of your home, you don't have to travel to go to the international conference. The conference comes to you where you are, which we have found a very helpful way to cope in this COVID-19 situation.
Now, turning to our weather forecast for November the 20th, 2020. The strengthened Atlantic high-pressure system will generate brisk winds and a more stable atmosphere across the region. Lingering moisture associated with a recent low-level trough may produce local showers during the early part of the forecast period. Small craft operators and sea bathers should continue to exercise caution as rough sea conditions are expected through the weekend. Hence, a small craft advisory has been issued for St. Martin. So the outlook through Sunday midday, partly cloudy and breezy with local showers possible. Now, let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, Member of Parliament for UP queries Telethon CEO on the forensic audit. I'll have a detail to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
The innovative Banco Matico contactless smart card. Your Banco Matico smart card is now equipped with a contactless feature for payments, so get ready to tap and go. Contactless payments are fast, easy, secure, and accepted worldwide at all Maestro-enabled contactless terminals. Tap for transactions equivalent to or less than 100 NAF, or the US dollar equivalent. You will receive notifications via email anytime you tap. Tap, tap, and pay fast. Fast with WIB. For more information, visit our website at wib-bank.net. Tap and go with your partner in progress.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. And as we continue with more items for you at this time, at the meeting of Parliament of the Telethon Group of Companies Financial State on November the 6th, 2020, Member of Parliament, the Honorable Keisha Heiliger Martin from the UP party queried the CEO of Telethon Group of Companies, Kendall Dupersoy, about the forensic audit and what is the status of that, as well as a help desk. She wanted to know what is the increased cost of having such a service. And then the CEO gave an explanation of both issues. According to the CEO, the help desk is a good service, a good arrangement and agreement for both parties.
My first question, and it was something that recently occurred on a couple months ago, it's the forensic audit. I know recently we decided, I think it was decided that the shareholder and the management team decided to opt for an operational audit. What is the status of that? I remember in 2017, Mr. Dupersoy, when you just started, you were ready to rock and roll. You had your mindset on like 2-3 major projects. And one of them, which was one that we welcomed very much, was the help desk. Transferring it from Curacao to St. Martin. That was one of the greatest projects. I think we did it within a year. It was done, right, Mr. Dupersoy? So the cost with that, it ended up increasing because when we moved it from Curacao to St. Martin, it increased. I need an explanation why. I have a feeling it has to do that we ended up hiring more people, and I'm saying we. Sorry, you're gonna have from time to time me saying we. So what was the reason for the increase in cost? And what kind of work does the help desk do now? Because I'm seeing that their workload is increasing. So what are the tasks and responsibility of the help desk?
But for instance, the forensic audit, what we were told by the auditors was the fact that a forensic audit requires a trigger. So it's you go into the company, you do a regular audit, you see something that looks questionable, and then you go deeper into it, so you do a forensic audit. That's not what I said, that's what they said. So that was the reason why we did. We opted to go for operational audit. What we tried to do with SWRB was things that were audited in our financial audit to not repeat them in the operational audit. And we were able to negotiate with them, and I believe the figure was in the area of 200,000 guilders for them to do the initial operational audit. As a matter of fact, that audit, we're going to start exchanging information with them next week. They're going to come in, or remotely, some of them, and start getting the information that they require to do it. So that's going to be starting next week. Help desk increase. At the time when we did the RFP for the help desk, we required 6 customer service reps and 2 technicians. We increased that to 8. And added an extra technician on the road, so that's why it was increased, I believe, by 2,000 guilders a month to be able to handle. Because what we realized is that the help desk could be utilized to do a lot more than just answering phones based on things. What they do now, they're also part of the FTTH project. They answer the phones, they do provisioning for the boxes. So when a technician goes out, he has a box and he does the connection. They at help desk provisions the service. Yeah, they provision the service. So they're doing a lot of other things. I think it's, from my perspective at least, it's a very good arrangement and an agreement for both parties.
And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening and also this week, Director of the NRPB, Mr. Claret Connor, was asked recently by our newsroom what would happen to the NRPB and how will their office be preparing for, God forbid, the island should be hit by another hurricane or some other natural disaster. Mr. Connor said that through the trust fund, they were able to obtain a CRIFT, which is the Caribbean Catastrophic Risk Insurance Facility. He explains further.
So what we were able to obtain from within the trust fund is the ability to join an insurance facility for the Caribbean. It's called CRIFT. It's Caribbean Catastrophic Risk Insurance Facility, and that is an insurance coverage, so to speak, for the country. And in the trust fund, we were able to join this and pay for this on behalf of the country in 2019, 2018, 2021. and eventually the country would then budget to pay for this on a yearly basis. But it provides a coverage through a Caribbean Basin Fund that deals with coverage for hurricane and damages from storms, etc., etc. So that is something I think would be good. In terms of the operations of a unit like this, the country would benefit from, in the long term, but that is not our focus as NRPB. We are here, we established under a temporary ordinance, and it coincides with the trust fund. And when the country gets to that point in 2025, then it can decide as to how they want to see at least institutions like this benefit moving forward.
So what you're saying that you have to make sure that into next year, if you have any hurricane come, that you have a buffer there to help out there.
Well, the trust fund established until 2025. And so it's going to run until then. The issue with regard to what happens in the future, of course, we didn't expect COVID to hit, and in the middle of COVID. So those unforeseen elements, you have your governments and you have your kingdom to handle that, and hopefully with time to come, we would be able to work out something more long term. But as far as the country, St. Martin, is concerned, and preparing itself to deal with recovery projects, the NRPB is here temporarily to deal with that, and then government can decide, in time to come, how they want to continue or in what form or fashion they want to adopt what we have been able to prepare, because all of the documents that we have, all of the information that we have belongs to the country, and then they'll be able to deal with that moving forward.
And with that, viewers, it brings us to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for tuning in this evening. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you so much for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again on Monday. Do enjoy a safe weekend.